Welcome into Dolphins Today. I'm your host, Will Scott. And Dolphins fans, I hope you enjoyed our first round coverage here on Chat Sports. What a night it was. The Dolphins didn't have a pick, but I still had a lot of fun here watching the draft coverage. And now we can finally look ahead to the Dolphins' third round selection, which will be late tomorrow night in round 3. So I'll have a Dolphins mock draft in a few seconds. But first, I want to know, who is your favorite first-round pick? Let me know down in the comments. A lot of surprising moves we saw tonight. Of course, the A.J. Brown trade highlighting the night. So, hey, Deebo Samuel didn't get traded. The Dolphins might be in the running to get him with the draft capital they have for next year. You know who wasn't picked tonight? Malik Willis. And I saw this tweet earlier this morning from Jeremy Klump, who said, per sources, the Miami Dolphins have significant interest in quarterback Malik Willis if he's on the board when Miami drafts on Friday. And obviously, he posted this before the draft. It was a joke. Of course, Malik Willis isn't going to be on the board at 102, right? He still hasn't been picked. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's turned into Bo Callahan here and no teammates went to his birthday party because he's falling for absolutely no reason. Everyone thought he was going to be a top 15 pick. And after the first round, he's still on the draft board. So Dolphins Twitter might be interesting tomorrow night if Malik Willis keeps falling. I'd rather have Tua, and I'd rather have Luke Fortner in the third round. Here are the Dolphins' 2022 draft picks. Round 3, pick 102. That's one of the last picks of round 3. Then they'll pick early on Saturday in round 4, and then they'll have to wait again. I should say they'll have to wait to pick until the 7th round. So they'll have a long wait on Saturday, not picking in rounds 5 or 6. And I compiled this list of Dolphins draft needs. The right side, it would be nice to add somebody on that right side in terms of running back, defensive tackle, edge rusher, wide receiver, but you really don't need to. And on top of that, you look at the left side. That is where the Dolphins, I think, need to be focusing. They better take a center or sign J.C. Tretter. They got to do one of those two things, and I certainly wouldn't mind them adding some people on the right side of that offensive line as well. So here we go with my Dolphins mock draft. The Dolphins on the clock at pick 102 on Friday night. And here are some notable players taken before their pick. Logan Hall making a surprising fall to 76 overall to Baltimore in the PFN mock draft simulator. I really like Cam Jurgens. I don't know if I like him more than Luke Fortner or Alec Lindstrom, but the Bengals took him 95th overall, so that is a top-notch center that is off the board before the Dolphins selection. And if you want more Dolphins draft videos, please hit that big red sub button. I'm going to be breaking down every single Dolphins draft pick here on Dolphins Today, brought to you by Chat Sports, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Here are the players available at pick 102. So here was who I was kind of deciding between, and Channing Tindall is a name that we have talked a lot about here on Dolphins Today. Unlikely falls to 102, but PFN says it might happen. I think he's really just too good to pass up in the third round, and the Dolphins, I think, need a little bit more depth at the inside linebacker position. He needs to work on his pass coverage a little bit, but he has a lot of explosiveness. He's very quick, really good at getting to the quarterback as an inside linebacker, a really good prospect, one of the best linebackers in this NFL draft, and I would be thrilled if he's on the board at pick 102. He is a very, very good linebacker out of Georgia who really played a key role on that Bulldogs national championship team last year. And if he's available, if I'm Chris Greer, I'm running to the phone. I'm not even thinking about drafting anybody else because of the talent this guy has. He's someone who's an early second-round pick type of talent who is really, really going to be having a lot of value if he's on the board at pick 102. And you look at his teammate, James Cook, someone we've talked about as well. The Dolphins might be targeting him. It's a tough call between those two, but linebacker is a bigger need for Miami. That is why I have them taking Channing Tindall here in round 3. James Cook, you look at more and more mocks, there's a chance that James Cook also falls to 102, and if the Dolphins are in that position, it would be a very tough call, but I'm going to go ahead and select Channing Tindall with the Dolphins' first pick late in the 3rd round. Would you be happy with the Dolphins drafting Channing Tindall? Let me know down in the comments. Type Y for yes or type N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video, so when you're hit with an ad break here in a few seconds, go down and let me know what you think. So here's the draft board now. We got Channing Tindall at pick 102, who has a lot of value if he's there at 102. Would certainly be tough to pass up. Let's fast forward 23 picks to pick 125 in the 4th round. Zach Tom taken right after Tindall. He's someone who has met with the Dolphins and has been linked to Miami in a lot of mock drafts. He's an intriguing prospect on the offensive line, but he's off the board before the 4th round, as well as Cade Mays, who I had the Dolphins taking in my last mock draft that I put out. I had him as the Dolphins' 4th round selection, and another guard, Marquise Hayes out of Oklahoma, also off the board before pick 102. Here's who's available. Some running backs, of course. Tyler Beatty out of Mizzou, James Cook, a couple of SEC guys there. With Luke Fortner, he's still on the board. I was tempted to take him in the 3rd round. Luckily, he's still on the board for us at 125, as well as Alec Lindstrom, who is a center out of Boston College, a very intriguing prospect because he played with Matt Applebaum, who is now the Dolphins' offensive line coach. So here were really the 4 guys I was thinking about taking. Go down in the comments. Let me know who you would take. If you would take Tyler Beatty out of Mizzou, type TB, James Cook, type JC, Alec Lindstrom, type AL, or Luke Fortner, type LF. But anybody who has been watching Dolphins Today is not going to be surprised that I opted to take Luke Fortner. He's my favorite center prospect outside of Tyler Linderbaum in this entire draft. And we knew Linderbaum wasn't an option when the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill and gave up their 1st round selection. There's still going to be a lot of center talent available in the 3rd or the 4th round. You know, it's funny. I thought Cole Strange had an outside chance to fall to the Dolphins, and the Patriots reach on him by taking him in the 1st round. And Luke Fortner is an intriguing prospect because he's very versatile. Played at least 600 snaps, left guard, center, and right guard. One of the few prospects in this draft that has played everywhere on the offensive line in his collegiate career. I really, really like Luke Fortner as a prospect who should be on the board when the Dolphins pick in the 3rd round and might be on the board when the Dolphins pick in the 4th round. He's my pick for the Dolphins at pick 125. So it pays off taking Tindall at pick 102, and Fortner's still there for you at 125. And he's got good balance, outstanding intangibles, says his scouting report. 20 starts at right guard. So you could see him maybe in that spot for the Dolphins, but I think they would draft him as a center. Center certainly the biggest need for the Dolphins. Lacks some power. That's the weakness. But you can't go wrong with Fortner or Lindstrom. I think either one of those two would be really, really good picks for the Dolphins. Lindstrom has a lot more experience at the center position. He hasn't played anywhere else, but Fortner adds more versatility, and he succeeded against the best defenses in the country in the SEC. So halfway home for the Dolphins in my mock draft. You got Tindall, you got Fortner. You address the team needs, and that's something we've talked about. Do you draft team need or do you draft best on the board? I think I did both right here. Tindall addresses a team need best on the board. Luke Fortner would be a steal at 125. That also addresses a team need at the center position. Now let's jump ahead to round 7. No 5th or 6th round pick for the Dolphins, but they do have 2 picks in the 7th round. So you got Tindall, you got Fortner. Let's take a look at who is off the board by around 7. But first, let me tell you about our coverage here on Chat Sports. And if you watched us tonight, I appreciate it. We're going to be live tomorrow night as well, starting with our coverage at 6 Eastern Time. Chat Sports is the number one destination for all NFL draft content, and we're going to be live not just tomorrow night, but all day Saturday as well, bringing you every single pick, breaking down every single pick. And when you get into the later rounds, ESPN's not going to be talking about some of those later round picks. We will be at Chat Sports, so go ahead and subscribe. Here are some notable players taken right before the Dolphins pick at 247. You see James Impey off the board, who's a center that's been mocked to the Dolphins a few times. Micah McFadden out of Indiana, also off the board, who I had the Dolphins taking in my last mock draft. Bubba Bolden, a name that a lot of us are familiar with. He is a Miami Hurricane product, and I was really disappointed to see Sincere McCormick off the board. He's one of my favorite running back prospects in this draft. But here is who's on the board. And Mike Rose out of Iowa State, I would be stunned if he fell to round 7. But I just took a linebacker, so I don't really need another one. Christopher Allen, a converted linebacker, played on the Alabama defensive line in 2020. Got hurt in 2021. Didn't really play last season for the Tide. And then Ty Chandler, a name we've discussed, a potential running back option. And I went with Christopher Allen, an edge rusher out of Alabama. It was wild to see him on the board here in round 7 because Mel Kiper in his last mock draft had the Dolphins taking him in the 3rd round, 102nd overall. And it's pretty unlikely he falls to round 7, but there are injury concerns. He tore his ACL, missed the entire 2018 season, then missed pretty much the entire 2021 season after suffering a foot injury that required surgery in week 1. I'd be surprised if he's on the board, but that'd be a no-brainer selection for me if I'm Chris Grier and Miami. Let's fast forward now to 247, the Dolphins' last pick of the draft. Mike Rose finally off the board to the Carolina Panthers at 242 overall. Josh Blackwell, another defensive back that I really like. He goes to Jacksonville, but Ty Chandler still on the board, and I opted to take him with the Dolphins' last pick. And I mean, look, running back not as big of a need after acquiring Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert in free agency. That's why you should wait until late in the draft to address that position. But Ty Chandler, a lot of value, I think, in round 7. Had a very good career at North Carolina. Over 1,000 rushing yards last season for the Tar Heels, and a name that I think a lot of us would like in round 7. So there's the picks. There's my 4 picks for the Dolphins. Channing Tindall, Luke Fortner, you got Christopher Allen and Ty Chandler in round 7. So go ahead, go down in the comments, grade my mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you think. But I addressed some team needs and then maybe some best players on the board there with Christopher Allen and Ty Chandler. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Dolphins Today. Be sure to give us a like on this video for more Dolphins draft content. This has been Will Scott. Talk to you tomorrow.